3-6-5 Charlie Hall. State of play 2-1. Ollie Magern, solid 3-1 in from 7-2. Aces 4, just half a point out to 11-2. Monkerhostin 7-1. Turco 9-1 along with Kingscliff, and Madison du Burley a 20-1 chance.
The exchange market on the Bet365 Charlie Hall chase is dominated by two horses. Number 2, State of Play, the Hennessy winner, exactly 2-1 and 9-4, just vacillating in between those two prices. Ollie Magern, the price-wise horse in today's Racing Post, he's been confidently backed as well, in from 9-2. Just bordering on 4-1 and occasionally shorter, but 4-1 generally the price. Ollie Magern very, very weak and drifting against these two. His aces 4, bits and pieces the remainder, but State of Play and Ollie Magern, they dominate.
Well, very wise, the Lincoln winner knocked out 15,000 who were in the hunt for the Scoop 6. That leaves 1,594 still going after 3 legs. Jim, final thoughts on this? I thought State of Play should, but if Ollie Magern ever is going to again, it could be today.
Well, tactics should be fascinating. I think there's been a lot of pace on here. Ollie Magern, Kingscliff likes to be handy. State of Play's usually tucked in just behind the pace. I'm sure we'll get a true run race, therefore. I don't know. If State of Play is the horse Evan Williams thinks he is, then he should win. He's relatively unexposed over fences. But as a punting proposition, I still think he's short. And therefore, if I was to have a few bob on one, it would be Monkerhostin.
Right, Ollie Magern for me, Monkerhostin for Jim. The man to call them, Stuart Machin.
And they begin to walk in. And they're off. Jumping away, the Bet365 Charlie Hall chase, 3 miles a furlong ahead of them. Just the 15 fences to jump at this time. Not quite such the jumping test it has been in recent years. And Ollie Magern, who made all to score in the race 2 years ago, is out to ensure that no prisoners will be taken here, and any chinks in the arm of the others will be quickly exposed. And at the back of the field, Turco is already being pulled up sharply, having jumped just the 1 fence. Something amiss. Turco has been pulled up, and Ollie Magern leads a depleted field out along the side of the course, being chased by Kingscliff and Madison du Burley with the red cap. State of Play, Tony McCoy, the royal blue jacket, settling in 4, shadowing Monkerhostin, and 2 or 3 lengths away to Aces 4 as they prepare to make the turn across the back straight. A line of 4 fences await them these days. No water jump anymore here at Wetherby. And Ollie Magern, Paddy Brennan ensuring a strong gallop here, and has gone 4 or 5 lengths clear of the chasers, headed by Madison du Burley and then Kingscliff. And a small break to State of Play, Monkerhostin, as Ollie Magern rises at the second, jumping well, and Aces 4 at last to touch down. So on towards the first of the ditches. Ollie Magern setting his stall out from an early stage, a clear lead on taking the ditch to Madison du Burley and Kingscliff out wide, the green cap. And then the yellow jacket of Monkerhostin from State of Play and Aces 4 at the back end under Graham Lee as they take the next one across on the far side. All handled that well, and now move on towards the 5th. Ollie Magern nicely clear of his field and jumping soundly out in front. State of Play, Tony McCoy just taking him a little more prominent in the chasing group, moves up to dispute second with Kingscliff out wide, and the nose-banded Madison du Burley. And then back to Monkerhostin, and Aces 4 looks on as they prepare to take the turn. Plenty of galloping now before they leave the ground again. They'll just be jumping 3 up the home straight. The middle one in that line will be the next of the ditches. And Ollie Magern, he went off very quickly, has now steadied it down. He leads by about 4 lengths to Madison du Burley, and then Kingscliff, a track through by State of Play. Monkerhostin nearest the rail, and Aces 4 has dropped anchor under Graham Lee. This lightly raced chaser from the Ferdy Murphy yard, currently last of the 6 that remain in the Bet365 Charlie Hall field. A third of the race completed. Ollie Magern leads to Madison du Burley. Kingscliff on the left as they rise at the first of the straight. Watching them all take it soundly. Kingscliff has been on and off the bridle a little, nudged along for a stride or 2 on landing there, as Ollie Magern leads to the next ditch. Fence 7 of the 15, approaching the halfway point. Madison du Burley continuing to chase this generous pace, and jumping across State of Play, a little unsighted there. Monkerhostin on the right getting it closer, and then out wide Kingscliff and a couple of lengths to Aces 4 as they race down towards the fence. It was the first, and after another circuit of the Wetherby chase course, it will be the last. Ollie Magern still nicely clear of Madison du Burley, and then State of Play in the centre of the chasing line with Kingscliff out wider on the far side, Monkerhostin, Aces 4 is close up, and they'd be now no more than 7 lengths covering them as Kingscliff through the halfway point hits his first real flat spot and is ridden along. He comes off the bridle, and Robert Walford has to put in a bit of early overtime as they make their way out of the home straight. Ollie Magern continues to dictate the pace in the Charlie Hall. He's a couple of lengths clear now to Madison du Berlay. State of play, Tony McCoy third place, then Monkerhostin Aces 4, and it's getting rather more urgent again on Kingscliff, who's dropped himself out to be last. Another laboured display from the old boy, and he's dropped 5 or 6 lengths off the main group. Swinging across the far side, Ollie Magern lifting the pace on the downhill run, stretches them out once more. His nearest pursuers, Madison du Berlay. State of play is a further 3 lengths away, and then Monkerhostin Aces 4, still patient Graham Lee, creeping quietly, and then a 5 or 6 length break to Kingscliff. About to rise at the 9th, Ollie Magern piling it on in front from Madison du Berlay. Kingscliff, the last one to touchdown's a bit remote now as they race on towards another ditch, and Ollie Magern, Paddy Brennan stokes him up, reaches for it 5 or 6 lengths ahead of Madison du Berlay. State of play travelling well, then Monkerhostin Aces 4 and Kingscliff still ridden along, but Ollie Magern is kicking on again down the far side, so 6 or 7 lengths clear. McCoy wise to the move, anxious not to give him too much rope, takes State of play up into second. Madison du Berlay will hop over this one in third ahead of Monkerhostin. The Birch was flying in behind as Aces 4 was in tight. Kingscliff is now a long last as they prepare to make the run out of the back straight. Ollie Magern coaxed along in front, 5 lengths ahead, but State of play is now beginning to bridge the deficit. Aces 4's making smooth progress on the outside of Madison du Berlay. Then Monkerhostin, who hasn't been popped the question, and Kingscliff is a long way adrift. So running down the side of the course, Ollie Magern in front, but State of play is within 3 or 4 lengths, and Aces 4 out wide. Orange sleeves and cap continues to make steady headway. Monkerhostin up the rail is still in their pitching. Madison du Berlay is ridden along, and then 7 or 8 lengths to Kingscliff. They've got 3 left to jump in the Charlie Hall. Can Ollie Magern hang on? The cavalry are coming. On the right, Blue Jacket, State of play. On the left, Aces 4. Then Madison du Berlay, Monkerhostin, the Yellow Jacket. 3 out. Ollie Magern in close. Only 2 lengths ahead. State of play ridden in pursuit. Now Aces 4's hard at work. Push comes to shove for Monkerhostin. Ollie Magern finding plenty, racing up towards the second last. State of play still got 2 or 3 lengths to find. Ollie Magern needs a good jump, keeps him a couple of hands out of State of play. Then Monkerhostin, Madison du Berlay. Aces 4's emptied out quickly. It's a long run down towards the last. Ollie Magern, McCoy's in overdrive on State of play. Oh, Monkerhostin's plugging on back in third. Then Madison du Berlay. Ollie Magern seeking his second Charlie Hall. State of play, McCoy in no mood to be denied, is gathering him in. Monkerhostin back in third. Ollie Magern needs another good one at the last and gets it. Picked up well. Length and a half clear. State of play trying hard to bridge the deficit. Ollie Magern digging in. The line is looming. State of play isn't getting to him. A second Charlie Hall for Ollie Magern. Fine ride from the front. State of play was in second. Monkerhostin third. Then Madison du Berlay, Kingscliff, and ultimately Aces 4 was pulled up.
Well, no quarter asked, none given there. A really dashing, almost old-fashioned ride by Paddy Brennan on Ollie Magern there. What a brave horse. Indeed, 2 brave horses, because State of play stuck at him all the way up the straight, but he could never quite get to him. And just slightly fearful for Ollie Magern that if he got one wrong, he might go base over apex. But to the horse's credit, he was very dexterous when he needed to be. He really reached for one on the second circuit down the far side. I think it was the ditch, the second fence down the far side, second time around, got away with it. But Paddy Brennan set him alight from some way out, and he never stopped finding. Turning for home now, still 3-4 lengths to the good. As the commentators call the cavalry were closing. Well, it looked certain that one of them would be able to pick him off. Aces 4's done a good race for a long way, but he ran like many of us thought, and indeed his trainer suspected that he just needed the run. State of play goes second now. Madison du Berlay's run a cracker too for a long way. You'd think when you see a horse flat out like this that he just won't be able to sustain it, but if you actually look at that again, his ears are pricked. Maybe he's just slightly dossing in front, and it's not as dour as it looks
about
to
70 yards away.
And coming to the second last now, remember the final fence now, they admit the second last because of a false patch of ground. Just one more good jump needed. Paddy Brennan rowing away, a willing partner, but he's got McCoy chasing him. 1, 2, bang, stands off it a little bit low, but he measured it correctly. And he's a really brave horse, as we saw here 2 years ago, and he's confirmed that. It's been a checkered time in between, but well done to Nigel Twiston-Davies and his team. And as he comes in, we'll give you the SP. Ollie Magern, the winner at 11-4, State of Play second at 15-8, and Monkerhostin third at 7-1.
Well, Twiston is shaking hands with Paddy Brennan. Paddy, you lit some fire under him.
Yeah, no, super. What a horse. I spoke to Carl Llewellyn this morning. He just told me to the letter what would happen, and thanks to him, and brilliant.
And he really reached one down the far side, but I mean, he never looked like falling or anything. He really was marvellous.
Marvellous. The sun was out there, Alistair, and it was just making him back off a lot in life, so I just kept the revs up. I've been receiving a lot of credit this year for what's happening with some training performance by Nigel Twiston-Davies, and really pleased for him and the whole team.
And my God, he's